Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. I appreciate you coming all this way to listen to me speak. It's an honor. It's a privilege. You know, in anticipation for today, I am privileged. I get to speak to many different types of crowds. And I've said to a few others, I do appreciate your kind words. Kelsey, thank you so much. You're way too kind in that introduction. I appreciate you guys applauding what we're doing here as MCs. And thank you, Randy, for the opportunity for letting us do it. But in anticipation of today, I was not nervous. Thankfully, I don't really get nervous in front of crowds or on stage. I feel very comfortable there. But I was anxious because as opposed to if I'm speaking for a client or I'm speaking to a group of students or I'm paid to go speak somewhere, I really want to do a good job for you guys. And I felt like, man, I really don't want to let Randy down. And I just really want to do well. It's almost like, you know, performing for your friends or your family and just saying, I just want to do so well. So with that as a preface, I hope to do really well. The reason that for my anxiety partly is because I'm an expert in nothing. You guys are better on social media than I am. You're better business people than I am. You are better relationally than I am. You're great connectors. You're all really good at what you do. And you've pretty much seen what I do. This is it. This is all I got. I'm a one-trick pony. I can get up there and I can talk a little bit, and that's about it. What I feel like I do have is an expertise in the area of living or doing the best that you can with what you have. Last year, I shared an exercise, and I wasn't planning on sharing it this year, but it's my all-time favorite. And if you remember it, go with me. But my friend Brandon Spencer, the coffee guy back there, thank you very much, by the way, for all the delicious coffee. He reminded me of this and said that it really helped him, so I'd like to do it again because it's really the basis of how I live my life. It's a fun little exercise, but you all have to participate. I'd like to ask you to all raise your hand. And once you've got it raised, just raise it as high as you can. Not long, don't worry, I know you're tired. Just raise your hand as high as you can for probably literally 5 seconds, 10-second maximum here. Just keep it up as high as you can. And you can look around the room if you'd like to see. All right, great. So thank you for participation. Now that you've got your hand there, I would like you to raise that a half-inch higher. And we can all raise our hands a half-inch higher. You can put your hands down. You see, I've seen in this life that there are people that think they've done all they can do, and they choose to live their lives either here with their hand raised, or no, I'm doing all that I can. Look, I'm doing really well. I'm pushing hard. And then there are the few that choose to go a half step further, that choose to believe a half step more, that choose to pursue a half minute longer. And that's you all. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is a little bit extra. And I think that's the ingredient that all of us need, a little bit extra. Now, our extras may be different things, but as we approach this, I've also found that we aren't just singular creatures. That while you may blog, or you may speak, or you may write, or you may create, whatever it is that you create, we have several artisans among the group. And that's your thing. And we all have the thing that we're trying to build, that we're trying to grow. And through that, we want to encourage people, impact people, and hopefully change the world a little bit for the good. And while we do that, I love the message that's been underlying throughout all of the presentations, and that is we are holistic beings. And we cannot isolate ourselves so much into our hustle that we are pursuing it so greatly that we forsake everything else. Now, that's not a new message, and that's not the message, the first time that you've even heard that message here. But I hope that I can take that a step further and give you a few things that I have noticed in my journey, in my pursuit of the things that I'm going for. You see, regardless of what we're doing, there's one key ingredient. And instead of just telling you about the ingredient, I have a video that I think demonstrates it more than any other. And that video is a demonstration of commitment. Now, in just a moment, you're about to see what I believe is one of the greatest stories of commitment that I've ever seen or heard. I hope that you pay attention to the young lady that's involved and hear the story. Ladies and gentlemen of Launch Out, that's the type of commitment that it's going to take from all of us. And we know what that's like. You felt it. You know it. You know the moment. You know the feeling that you looked. Maybe not yet. You looked. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to start walking over that way. Yeah, I'm hustling. I'm doing this thing. Oh, crap. I'm about to do this thing. And you've just got to commit and jump and sail and make it happen. And that's what we're doing. So if you've been in mid-flight like me, you realize, all right, here we are, and there's no turning back. Well, we've launched out, and we're going for it. So the number one ingredient for all of us that it's going to take, if we're really going to succeed in this thing of life, is commitment. Holistic commitment. Commitment to your hustle, commitment to your family, commitment to whatever priority it is that you choose to prioritize, whether it be faith, family, whatever the thing is of substance that is substance to you. You have to have all-out commitment. Commitment is never halfway, or it's not commitment at all. You cannot be standing on the ledge saying you're committed while the journey is in front of you. So all of us are going to have to take commitment. Now, once we commit and once we go for it, I have learned another thing, and I've learned this all too well. You see it online, you see it in passive aggression, you can see it amongst your friends. Sometimes you can even see it in your family, those people that you're saying, I just committed to you, man, at a conference. But sometimes you'll hear some messages like this.
Wait a minute. Must show you this. Lickable wallpaper for nursery walls. Lick an orange. It tastes like an orange. Lick a pineapple. It tastes like a pineapple. Go ahead. Try it. Oh.
I got a plum. Grandpa, this banana's fantastic. It tastes so real.
Try some more. The strawberries taste like strawberries. The snozberries taste like snozberries.
Snozberries? Who ever heard of a snozberry?
We are the music makers. And we are the dreamers of dreams.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams, wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting by desolate streams, world losers and world forsakers, upon whom the pale moon gleams. Yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. See, we are the dreamers. We are the music makers. We will have critics, and we will have people who tell us that our dreams are not reality and never will be. And in that moment, it's interesting to me, because we have a choice. We can choose to fight fire with fire, and we can tell them all the reasons that they are wrong. We could defend our dream. We could defend our perception. We could defend our hopes. We could defend what we are trying to accomplish. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that you cannot defeat darkness with darkness. Only light can do that. In the same manner, I contend to you that it is not the critic who counts. It is not the critic who counts. Yet we will face criticism, and when the critics come to us, that we should not defend ourselves. We should simply tell them, we are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams. Because I've learned that I cannot cast my pearls among swine, and if I did, that it wouldn't do very much good. So I should simply stand on who I am and know that that is enough. Because there will be little snotty brats that say, who ever heard of that? You can't do that. You're not good enough to do that. Well, let me tell you why I'm good enough to do that. Or just rise above it. Not to show them, not to disprove them, but simply because it's what you set out to do in the first place anyway. Now, how do we do that? If we're going to be holistic beings, and we're going to do that, and we're going to overcome the critics, but we're not going to overcome them by fighting fire with fire, negativity with negativity, word for word, simply stating who I am, what I believe, and what I am pursuing. I am a music maker. I am a dreamer of dreams. The first step in that, then, is I must dream dreams. Now, that may seem paradoxically obvious in this room, but I'd like to challenge you for a moment if I could. You see, we hear criticism so often, and the critics have such a loud voice that I think many of us have been beaten down to the point where it is difficult for us to dream, even in a group of dreamers. So I want to challenge you and help you a little bit, possibly. Let's dream for a moment. I'm not worried about what your dream is. As a matter of fact, I want you to take off all possibilities, all realistic possibilities, and dream. On your launch pad, if you would, if you have it, or if you're just taking notes, or if you're not taking notes at all. It makes me feel better if I think you are. So If you would, I'd like you to jot down a dream that you have. Go ahead, jot it down. Now, once you have that, I'd like you to look at it again. And I'd like you to take that dream one step further. And write it down again, but this time, what would this dream look like one step further? What if it was a little more? What if it was slightly different? Maybe bigger. Might not be numerically, but a step further. Now, as you're looking at you can continue writing, please do, but as you're looking at those dreams, you might have something like, I want to write a book, which is a worthy dream. But if you take it one step further, maybe potentially what you really mean is, I want to have a book published. Phenomenal. I'd like you to take it one step further. Again, what does it look like if you take that dream one step further? If I continue my writing example, it might look like, well, I want to be a bestseller. That's what I really want to do. Great. Let's take it one step further. I don't know. Gosh, if I'm on the New York Times best-selling list, man, that's going to be awesome. You're right. But I think you're more awesome than that. What does one step further look like? Gosh, at this point, I don't even know. I don't know. That would be amazing. And you're right, it would. So without arrogance and not taking away from what that is, let's dream a little more. What would it look like if you had that published in multiple languages? Well, I've never thought of that. Let's think about it. What would it look like? Because, see, I don't know what your dream is. And I'm not saying that bigger is better. But what I'm saying is, as we dream, I think that we put limitations on our dreams, and I want us to stop doing that. Because I do workshops like this frequently, and people stop generally at about level 2. So I'm not saying that more is better, and I'm not saying that bigger is better, and I'm not saying more. What I'm really saying is deeper. Think how your dream will affect your life. Think how your dream will affect your family. And when you begin to do that, I think that we begin to unleash these possibilities in our mind, the restrictions that have come upon us, most often by other people. We are dreamers and we are builders. So let's be the best dreamers that we can be. And let's take things one step further. So if we're going to be holistic and if we're going to make things matter, if we're going to really launch out, I believe that we have to be committed. I believe that we have to dream dreams, and I think we should practice the art of dreaming. Because honestly, I just don't think we're very good at it. I know I'm not very good at it. That's why I need people in my life like Ryan Eller, like Kyle Price, like Wes and Ralph and you all to help me to see your stories and get inspired by it and to hear. So I need those voices to help me overcome the critical voices. That's why a conference like this is so relevant, and that's why we're all here, and that's why it matters. But we also have to do another step. Check this video out.
I live on a mountain and can yell really, really loud. Use that to your advantage.
Ladies and gentlemen, your voice is so imperative to us and you. Your voice is important to you because when we take it one step further and we go a little bit more, it challenges us. And it allows my subconscious to begin thinking in those terms and how that thing is going to happen. But there's real power in it when we start sharing it. And I know that there have been moments when we shared things on Facebook, and there have been moments that we've shared it on Twitter. We launched our product, we launched our thing, and those are great. But now with this new attitude of one step further, I'd like you to share with your neighbors what's one step further for you, maybe that you've never shared before, or you've never even thought about until this moment. Hopefully it'll sound crazy. Tell your neighbors, what's one step further? All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I love the fact that you're talking, and that's exactly what I want. But they're holding up cards in the back, so I'm going to continue. I hope that your dream sounded a little crazy. I hope that when you said it, you hesitated a little bit. Because if you're not hesitating a little bit, you're probably not dreaming big enough. If you're thinking about it, Will Smith, one of my new favorite quotes, he said, the quickest path to mediocrity is being realistic. So stop being realistic. When you say it, if it sounds like, man, I have no idea how the blank I'm going to do that. Great. All right? Then let's do this thing. So, there's one more critical element. Let's check it out.
Where my life used to be till I tapped the NPC to conduct such breaking. That's what y'all gonna do. That means y'all break through cause y'all clearly touch. Bandmates, Chris Kirk is on the scene. The hot bass is in the drums is calling her. Breakout, epidemics is the bro. Breaks out from every show to this you never heard.
Ladies and gentlemen, we must celebrate small victories. Because it is not the critic who counts. And you might be down 10-1, but praise God for that one. And I just scored. So I'm going to dance like there's no tomorrow. We've got to celebrate small victories. Here's why. This is your dream. This is your dream. It is an oversized Hershey's candy bar. This is your dream. It's big. It's bigger than anyone ever could possibly need or want in this. This is really, really overdone. It's big. It's huge. It's out there. It seems impossible. And hopefully, if you've really started dreaming, it seems a little bit impossible. It's crazy. I was challenged last night at dinner with a question, what's like the perfect client? What's the perfect get this year? And I'm challenging you with the same thing. So what is that? And maybe it's that Hershey's candy bar. It's out there. It's big. And I want you to dream like this. But here's the reality. This is your dream. The reality is you will never, ever get it. Ever. That's a myth. You'll never, ever get that. And if it's one thing that I've learned on this journey of closer to where I want to be than I was, and hopefully better than I was, that while that may be the dream on the paper, the dream really looks like this. And a bunch of small candy bars. Because I take one step toward the dream. I get closer. I take one step and I get closer. I don't ever get to bite off the big Hershey. I just take one little step. And it might be like, I'm going to create my Facebook page like we heard yesterday. It might be, hey, you called for it. It might be, I'm going to make a new connection, just one. I'm gonna tweet today, just a few. I'm gonna tell somebody about my brand because it's really hard for me to do that. Just one little step. Because here's the cool thing: I say that you'll never ever get that because you'll never ever be ready for that. Because once you get to this, it just looks like one of these. Because that's the next step in my journey, man. And a long time ago, it seemed ridiculously impossible, but today, I can take it. I can do it. I couldn't have even done this 2 years ago, but today, it's the next step in my journey. And we're all on that journey. Why? Because you're dreamers, you're builders, you're launchers, you're doing it, and I truly believe that you're all super bad. Thanks for letting me be a part of your tribe.